Mobile Bay, an environmental treasure. A paradise for sportsmen and commercial fishermen. A haven for recreation. And one of the hottest areas in the Gulf of Mexico for natural gas exploration and production. The challenge? To preserve this, and this, and this, while dredging and laying 4 separate pipelines to a production platform miles offshore. Shell Oil and OPI International undertook just such a challenge in 1990. Their mission, to comply with stringent environmental regulations while building a pipeline system from Shell's central production platform in Mobile Bay to the shore near the Yellowhammer gas processing plant over 15 miles away. The project required laying 4 pipelines 6 feet apart, a 16-inch and 12-inch line to carry natural gas, an 8-inch water line, and a 6-inch line for transporting fuel gas offshore. 4 lines, all in one trench and buried 6 feet deep. 4-line projects had been done before, laying 1 or 2 lines at a time. But for economic and environmental reasons, OPI decided to do what no one, to their knowledge, had ever done before: use a major offshore lay barge to lay and bury all 4 lines simultaneously. The project began over 400 miles away in Orange, Texas, with the retrofitting of Lay Barge 280. Working day and night, in good weather and bad, OPI transformed the single-line barge into a pipe-laying juggernaut. To meet environmental concerns, an 8-inch barrier was installed to prevent any spill or rainwater from flowing overboard into the bay. A spill response plan was prepared, and a portable spill containment unit was added, with enough boom to completely surround the lay barge in case the initial barrier was breached. The big challenge for OPI was not handling the varying pipe diameters, thicknesses, and coatings. Pipe-laying companies do this every day, but not 4 lines at once. To handle this monumental task required more than guts. It required the complete rethinking of accepted procedures. The LB-280 was totally reconfigured. 2 new roller assemblies and new flooring were added to the pipe lay firing line. Now 3 separate lines could be handled in the same room. To complete the task, an assembly area for the 4th line was added to the starboard deck. Finally, the production capabilities of a single-line lay barge had been quadrupled. At dawn, just 35 days later, the LB-280 and a flotilla of support vessels were heading to Mobile Bay from OPI's fabrication yard in Texas. That flotilla included 7 tugs, 3 quarters boats, 3 spud barges, 2 waste liquid barges, 3 crew boats, and several deck barges. For the next 2 months, Dolphin Island on Mobile Bay would be the home for the OPI and Shell project coordinators who headed the mission. Recreational and commercial fishing has been the mainstay of Mobile Bay communities for decades, and it was important to OPI to communicate with both local officials as well as the Coast Guard to ensure they were informed of all facets of the operation. Those efforts paid dividends in both a smooth working relationship and a reduced anxiety about potential environmental damage. Protecting the onshore environment was as important as protecting Mobile Bay waters. That was evident during drilling of the shore approach, even before the LB-280 arrived. Shell required that a 42-inch borehole be drilled 43 feet underground from the shore to approximately 3,000 feet offshore. During that drilling and the pullback operations, contractors made sure that used drilling mud discharged onshore was captured and held in plastic-lined pits for proper disposal. With boring operations in full swing onshore, the LB-280 was making pipeline history out in the bay. Handling 4 sizes of pipe in an assembly line format required continuous material handling and staging. With 4 crews working on 4 separate lines, the operation created its own unique cadence. As the dredging barges chewed a pathway through the bay, dozens of welders, grinders, X-ray technicians, and support personnel labored around the clock to maintain the rhythm. As the lines dropped out of sight, inspectors from offshore petroleum divers followed them down to ensure proper positioning was maintained for each line. As the pipe was laid, divers made sure the lines stayed 6 feet apart, and before backfilling, they made sure the lines were the required 6 feet deep. The sharp turns required to negotiate the spoil banks offered a unique challenge with 4 lines. But the maneuver was handled smoothly by crabbing the big barge slowly around the curve while maintaining acceptable pipe stresses and proper pipe alignment. Once the path to the production platform became a straightaway, the pipe laying became routine and quick. The trench was dug. The pipe was lined up, welded, X-rayed, and coated, with Shell inspectors overseeing every step. The boring had continued during much of the pipe laying operation, and once completed, a special barge was brought in to bundle a 4-line section together and float it into position. Once there, the bundled lines were pulled through the borehole and welded to the pipe offshore. In less than 70 days from arrival in Mobile Bay, pipe laying was complete. The risers were set, and the LB-280 was on tow back to Orange, Texas. Construction was completed on schedule. We learned a lot on this project. For one thing, how to operate the barge in 1 foot of water. It was that shallow at one point. The actual pipe laying got to be pretty routine, not only for us, but the wildlife in Mobile Bay. Divers even found shrimp digging along the pipeline to make homes. 4 pipelines at one time. Routine. Once it wasn't, now it is. At least for some.